Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome back to Psychology Eats. So, what's eating you? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope this video finds you in great mental health. I hope everything is going well for you and life is lifing. Oh, y'all, we have a disturbing story to talk about. If you've lost a child, click off. I don't want you to be triggered by this next story that I'm about to discuss. This story is so disturbing on so many different levels, especially the outcome for the victim and the victim's family. We know that not only here in the United States, but across the world, mental illness is very difficult to manage and deal with for people who not only have a mental illness, but also for the family, community, and just people affected by someone whose mental illness is unstable. They are decompensating in their mental capacity, and they become a danger to themselves and others. And unfortunately, if you've ever dealt with somebody who has mental illness, you know that it's not always easy to get them into treatment. So, and I know that from the side of being a mental health clinician for over 30 years. You know, there have been many times where I wanted to hospitalize someone because they were a danger to themselves or others, and we just couldn't make it happen for, many different reasons. And so the story that I'm going to share is a tragedy that, in my opinion, the woman who unalived this little boy was psychotic, even I could say mentally deranged. I don't know if she was on drugs at the time. It doesn't matter. It mattered that I could clearly see this lady has some mental health, mental illness. And as a result of her psychosis, it appeared that she was delusional, hallucinating, probably hearing voices, which led to what she did. So stay tuned, and I'm going to cut the video and talk through the video. But here is this video about this unfortunate tragedy.
On the indictment that the state has reserved the right to add the death penalty. Do you understand that? Have you read that?
ASAP.
So that is the accused murderer of the story you're about to hear about. But she clearly, in my opinion, has some mental challenges, mental illness.
What's ASAP?
Alice.
Ellis was then walked into the courtroom where she used a whispering voice.
Hello, Miss Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney?
She most likely has a court-appointed attorney who will probably ask the judge to have a psych eval done on her.
Have you received your indictment? Okay, well, we can read it in open court. The defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020.
While charges were being read, Ellis smirked, shrugged, raised her eyebrow, and even smiled.
Mental illness is not an excuse for horrific behaviors, but it does lend to an understanding of why she made those choices.
You wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
C.
Pardon me?
C.
What's same mean? Yes or no?
Yes.
Sitting in that courtroom, Jared Wood, Julian's father, and others who deeply loved him.
Obviously, this family is traumatized and grieving the loss of their son, and this lady is just acting out.
That day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son or anything that my wife and I, or even our other kids, are going through.
North Olmsted police say Ellis stole 2 kitchen knives from a thrift store in the same plaza as the Giant Eagle. Surveillance video shows her inside the grocery store walking past registers, knife in hand, when she bumped into Margot, Julian's mom. He was in a shopping cart. Video then shows.
And at that point is when the psychosis, the delusions, and probably voices in her head telling her to harm
Ellis
those
following
people.
the family to their car where police say the stabbing happened.
Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
A plea from a grieving father.
Mom did nothing wrong in this situation. I'm sure she did what she could to protect her children once the assault started.
I really wish no bail, period. Or
The lady is a threat to herself and others, and because her psychosis and her decompensation is violent, she should never get out of prison. Never.
extend it to the max limit possible that you can, at the very least.
The judge setting bond at $5 million, and Ellis was taken out of the courtroom.
So at this point, what can really be done with Miss Ellis, the lady who did the unaliving? And really, I mean, not much. I mean, she needs to go to prison, and she will go to prison. Now, if they deem her mentally insane or fine, I mean, she'll still go into the prison system. I think she's going to be dangerous in the prison system without proper treatment, that she requires medication. You know, probably the best option for her as far as medication is concerned is an IM, you know, to give her a shot to really calm down the psychosis, the hallucinations, the voices, and put her more in a sedated state. Because I think when, you know, off her meds and decompensating and getting sicker mentally, she's a danger to not other inmates, but also to the staff in the prison. Staff don't go, working in these institutions and environments to be assaulted and mistreated by the people that are there, prisoners or any other mental institution. And so I would love to know more about her history, dating all the way back to who were her parents, who was she born to, what kind of pregnancy did her mom have. These questions are important for prevention, as what she's done and what she did is over for most of us. The family, unfortunately, will have to live with her actions. Mom will have to live with that trauma. The other children, if they were there at the store with mom, it's just, a lifelong trauma for the family that loved that little boy. But as far as what we are seeing and what we can do for people who are mentally ill is to, I think that there's some cases where mandatory medication has to be established in some way. People have a choice now. I don't want to take my meds, they don't take them. And then they may, act out. Now, statistically, and I'm a professor of psychology, I talk about mental health and psychosis and all of that. But what we know is that statistically, people with mental illness are less likely to harm other people, more likely to harm themselves. But there's always cases like, not always, but we hear about cases like Miss Ellis's case where she, a mentally ill person, acted out violently in the community and harmed another person. It's rare, but it does happen. But it's cases like hers where mandatory medication should be enacted. It should, there needs to be a process, and, just like we have a process for people who are hospitalized without, signing themselves in. They call it a 504, depends on where you live. Involuntary hospitalizations. In most cases, it's like 3 doctors have to approve it. I think we need that with medications. That people who act out violently when they have decompensated, which should be on meds and made to be on meds, and not meds that they take by mouth, but meds that are injected, to guarantee that they are getting their medication. I would say to anybody who has a family member, most likely Miss Ellis has a family who's probably struggled for years dealing with her mental illness and her outburst and everything else that she has going on, and has probably looked for help many, many times. I think for families like that, you just gotta do the best you can, have them committed whenever you can, get them in the hospital whenever you can, get your evals, get the medicine. I know over the years, I've worked with many clients, and I've told them, like, you got to get on your meds. If you don't stay on your meds, then you're not going to get your disability. You're not going to get your and that is usually a way to keep them on their meds, because, Social Security does send out assessments to see how they're doing. And if their doctor won't sign off on it, then they're going to lose their disability checks. That has worked, for me working with clients over the years. Like, no disability check means, the things that you like, you're not going to be able to get. Now, usually that's cigarettes. But whatever, they stay on their medication because they know that I'm not going to talk to their doctor. The doctors usually, the psychiatrists usually come to the therapist, like, how are they doing? What do you think? Da, da, da. If you're not taking your medicine, I'm not signing off on nothing. But anyway, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.